Yeah, I know.
She's right in my Okay guys, just coming on here.
Perfect, thank you. That's
CTV somehow jumped in front of me here. How they got precedence. Wasn't cool, man. It's alright. Jumps on them.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to
Test. How's the sound, you guys? Anyone on? Coming on? Please test the sound for me. Let me know.
Can you hear me, Liz? Liz? Hardly. You can text me. I can get text when I'm
You're
on.
going to be right.
Okay, just keep texting. You need to tell me anything. Okay.
Just so you know, there are like
Not TV crew. Can I get a sound check, please? Sorry, Ricky Williams, you're not going to be in the video. Did you get the wireless mic up there? It's up there. Not bad. What do you mean not bad? Sounds good. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, sure. On my card, thank
Even if the back. Jeff, are you up with the channel? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna call new channels. Angle 1.
Hey,
Those are so much transparency. Hope you like the white balance.
we lost the audio though.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2.
Glenn? Angle 1.
Angle 1.
Yeah. How's the mic up front? You guys?
Mic check. Sorry. 1, 2.
No, sorry. I'm just asking. So, Odessa's people here. Can you guys hear fine up front? Yeah, CTV just jumped right in front of my camera here. They had precedence somehow. Sure, they're gonna. Should be concerning.
What good was Wi-Fi?
When he was setting up, I think it's foot.
Check 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1. Test 1, 2.
Not TV. How you doing over there? Did you hear that? That was loud and clear. Thank you.
Check 2. Testing 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2.
Okay, and I'll turn my mic off as soon as they're ready to roll here, but for now I'm going to have my mic on, and then I'll shut it off here. Okay, Odessa, we're good?
You're going to shoot from back there?
No.
No? Where are you going to shoot? You're going to... Okay.
Okay guys, getting ready for the press conference here from the truckers, organizers. Yeah, we'll see what's up. Somehow CTV just got in here and stood right in front.
You can try not to bump my elbow because it's going to.
Oh, we'll let him. Yeah, sound seems like it's going good, everyone. Get ready here.
That's what we're trying to do, yeah. We're trying, but
What's wrong? Do you need more room? Sorry? Oh, internet.
If you remember, you can go on enhanced high speed and then do it through the snap on.
Who are you?
Yeah, Bomboy. Yeah, Bomboy. So you can rent it for the day, high speed.
Okay, we're gonna need a little bit of room too, so that the right people can get in, the ones who want in.
Yeah. You guys have live feed there? Like your bright What's that?
No bright news to your left. One more, Roy.
Roy, right here.
Bright light.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. Thank you, Bright Light.
I'm trying to see what happened.
I'm just trying to be able to watch it outside because
It's too damn hot in here.
I'll call John and let him know you're trying.
I think some people are going to have to move back. Can you guys move back a little bit, please? Thank you. We're going to have to give people a little bit of air to breathe, so if you can move back, if you're not with the credential media. Please move back.
Who we got right
If
there,
you're not
everyone.
with credential media, but anybody that is not media, just move back a little bit, please, or out of the room. You can watch it live stream.
Nice.
What's that?
I'm not the one. You and me are sure.
All right, a lot of people on here, you guys. Fantastic. Let's send this out. Let's share it. Let's get it out there quick.
If you're not a media,
I'm looking at CTV. They have 4 viewers watching theirs. We have 100,000 on all of ours.
War Measures Act. That act is not going to go outside of
I get right by you. Right.
Yes, you're right, Sam Kwan. Legacy Media does not deserve a right to be here.
so our feed is good, so we should be going out to about 5 different channels.
Oh, I'm here.
He's right behind you.
So it is still upright.
Great. There was a war, there was a jungle.
You guys want to sing a song, anyone? Lean on me when you're not strong.
I'm sorry? No, I will not take this one. I'll take this one.
No, just light.
Can you turn that to a little tungsten on the border, sir? All of them. Can you turn your lights tungsten a little bit to match the other lights? That's first.
Yeah, actually that's there right in the TV too for the rest of us.
I mean, if you could turn it to tungsten, just a little bit of tungsten, be fine. Is it bicolor? Is it bicolor?
Yeah.
Just, I mean, can you just match these lights? Other knob? Turn the other knob. Other knob. Yeah, the other knob that's the one at the bottom. Yeah, that one. Try that one. There you go. There you go.
Hey, perfect. On TV, how come I don't have fancy lights?
Yeah, but it's not helping. It just created a huge glare in the television there.
Yeah, you see it. It's on the glare on TV. It's just visible.
Nobody's gonna look it out. I don't think it
Yeah, but it's glare on our cameras. So some people are also going to see
Raise
it.
these because these are just shooting like the back of your heads.
Yeah.
We're gonna raise these.
They should be up here.
Yeah. You can raise this one. This one.
You guys. Brothers, everyone. Look at who we got here. Brothers. Awesome. Is it? This one? Right here. See, that's why we got along right from the hop. Then we got CTV down below us, which is fitting.
It's okay. I get you.
This is a live. Fair enough. Hey, kudos CTV. Thanks for coming. Good to see you. Run it live though.
That should be okay.
When I was a little bitty baby, my mama would rock me in the grave in the morning. Hot wheels bang on. It was. All right, here we go, guys. I'm going to turn off my mic and lose my voice of an angel here.
Okay, we'll get started. I think we're about 3.5, 4 minutes late, so forgive us for that. My name is Brian Peckford, and I'm here as one of the spokesmen for the Canadian Convoy Truckers 2022. And we want to make a number of statements this afternoon in anticipation of what is likely to happen in this capital later today. We understand that it is the Prime Minister's intention later today to invoke the Emergency Act, which is, I guess, the modern version of the War Measures Act, and to impose this act, if he gets parliamentary approval, upon the nation in response to what the truckers are doing peacefully and under legal and civil disobedience, which is a part of our democracy. To kick things off, I'm going to ask Tamara, who is, of course, one of the great leaders of the truckers movement, to make a statement. Tamara.
Thank you. I am honored to be sitting next to the last surviving founder of our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, the very document that is now being used against the people it was designed to protect. The federal government is planning to invoke the never-before-used Emergency Measures Act. First of all, we are not afraid. In fact, every time the government decides to further suspend our civil liberties, our resolve strengthens and the importance of our mission becomes clearer. But planted on Parliament Hill until the mandates are decisively ended. We recognize that there is a democratic process within which change occurs. We have never stepped outside of that process, nor do we intend to. All Canadians a peaceful demonstration. We have countless vulnerable people in our crowd, including children, the elderly, and the disabled, who cannot be met with force by a genuine liberal democracy. The right to peaceful protest is sacrosanct to our nation. If that principle is, it has always been an excuse used by those who ignore their moral intuition. But we have faith in you, Canada, to do the right thing. Do not let this become a dark moment in our history. I want to now address all Canadians. No matter our reasons and opinions, it is how that determines the fate of the country. Listen to your hearts, Canadians. Is the Emergency Act the right response to our demonstrations of love and freedom? Now, I want to address the Prime Minister. No matter what you do, we will hold...
Very, very strange moment in our history. If what we hear is true from mainly from the mainstream media this time, I guess, that the Prime Minister and the Government of Canada intends to invoke the Emergencies Act. And this, as Tamara has said, will be the first time that it's been used. It's the modern version of the War Measures Act, as I understand it, that Justin Trudeau's father invoked many decades ago, and which of course caused a lot of problems, because once again it was a very broad application of an act which really applied even at that time to one province. And so we are again in 2022, looking at a situation, especially as it relates to the convoy 2022, which is here in Ottawa and in the environs of Ottawa, which is peaceful. The streets are clean. Crime is down since the truckers arrived. And so therefore, it behooves the government, if they are going to proceed on this movement of invoking this act, to prove that this really is necessary to apply to the capital city and to this convoy. We have tried, and I'm speaking on behalf of the truckers now, we have tried very hard to ensure that we are doing things peacefully and that we are exercising our civil disobedience and our rights to civil disobedience. And even over the last number of days, the truckers' representatives have been involved with the city of Ottawa in very serious talks to ensure that the citizens are negatively affected as least as possible. And I think you are aware of some of the latest actions in that regard. So the truckers are not insensitive to the fact that they are in a city. They're in a city where there are citizens who also have rights and freedoms, and that they must be respected. At the same time, as the truckers' rights must be respected. The other thing is, as some of you may not know, in invoking the Act, the new War Measures Act, the government, after it declares this, must go to Parliament and must pass this through Parliament. They have 7 days, I think, to 7 days to present the matter to the Parliament, and both the Senate and the House of Commons have to vote on it after a debate in the Parliament. And to my understanding of the Act, that there's no limitation on the debate periods, and therefore, hopefully, the government will honor that and not try to bring in some kind of closure measure to restrict debate in Parliament. It will be the truckers' representatives who will argue very hard with the political parties that this is an unnecessary action by the government of Canada, that this is again a government overreach. We don't do this kind of things in Canada. We engage in dialogue. And it is my understanding that the government of Canada has not reached out once to the truckers since they have arrived in this capital city. Now, I find that very hard to understand, because how can you justify going to a measure like an emergency measures where a lot of powers can be imposed upon the citizens when you have not even yourself taken any action to engage, first of all, in dialogue? Let's forget the negotiations for a minute, just natural dialogue, to reach out and say, can we sit down and have a talk, see where the major issues lie, and see if there's any common ground. To move just quickly through, and one is struck by the fact that only a couple of days ago the province of Ontario issued an emergency order, and now we have, only a few days later, the anticipation that the federal government is doing that. Was this all planned? Is this all orchestrated to try to heighten heighten the fear in people in Canada, so they think this is all justified? The other thing that's really bothersome to me, not only as a Canadian, but as somebody who helped craft the Charter of Rights and Freedoms right here in this city a little over 40 years ago, which was a constitutional document which is supposed to be able to stand the test of time. And one of the principles of that charter is that if governments initiate any moves to undermine the freedom of a religion, or the freedom of conscience, or the freedom of thought, or the freedom of expression, or the freedom of movement, of association or assembly, or if they're going to move against life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, if they're going to move, or I should say security of the person, if they're going to move to try to restrict travel in the nation, from me being able to travel across the nation, or any citizen, or they're going to somehow override one's equality before the law, they have to, even if Section 1 does apply, which I would argue it doesn't, they have to demonstrably justify their actions. That's a pretty strong onus. And in the Oates case back in 1986, a judge of the Supreme Court indicated what a high bar that will be for the governments to be able to meet, to eliminate the individual freedoms and rights of Canadians contained in that charter. So there's a great onus upon the government of Canada when they start initiating these kinds of actions, that they must be consistent with the Charter of Rights and Freedoms in all its measures. And remember, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms also says, whereas this country is founded on the principles of the supremacy of God and the rule of law, that this must also come into play. And that the Constitution of this nation, not the Emergency Act, the Constitution of this nation is the supreme law of Canada. So it's within that context that I, as a citizen and a person who was involved in the creation of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, must take issue with what I anticipate to be an action against the people of this country through the Emergency Act. This is completely unnecessary to apply to the truckers. And we will, as I said, because I've been informed of this by the trucker leadership, that we will, over the next days and weeks, if this particular declaration moves to the House of Commons and the Senate, that we will actively argue against any such measure being passed by the Parliament of Canada. And we hope that by the end of the day, and that will be 2 or 3 weeks from now, we hope, because we want robust debate and we don't want any closure on this by the Government of Canada, that it will give time for representatives not only of the truckers, but representatives of Canadians from coast to coast to coast to speak about this unilateral, this kind of action that the Government of Canada is taking, killing a fly with a sledgehammer. This is completely and absolutely unnecessary. I'm also very hopeful, because I understand that the Prime Minister and the Government of Canada have consulted with both, or at least informed the opposition parties and have informed the provinces of the premiers. I hope before this day is out that this enactment happens by the government, that they move ahead on their intention to introduce this Emergency Act, that the premiers will come out and say, as I am saying, that this is completely unnecessary, and that they will speak up. Hopefully the members of Parliament before this day is out will speak up. We want to know where every single member stands. No vacillation, no this way, that way, no wiggle room here. We want to hear from all of the members of Parliament and the members of the legislature right across the country, all 14 legislatures. Where do you stand on all of this? And make it clear, because we are at a very historic moment in our history to see this act being invoked for the first time against peaceful demonstration and civil disobedience. So I guess what we're saying is that we're putting the Prime Minister and the Government of Canada on notice.
Yes.
If they move ahead with what we understand from the press is they're going to do later today, is to enact this declaration of emergency and then bring it to the Parliament of Canada, that we will stand strong as we have to date to oppose these unnecessary moves against the freedoms and liberties of every Canadian.
A question for Tamara? Or for Brian or Tamara, just a quick question. The protest in Windsor ended pretty peacefully, a few arrests, but mostly people just drove away or walked away. What's happening, could this end the same way as it ended in Windsor? Just people just go based on police coming in?
I don't know what happened in Windsor, so I'm not familiar with that. I know it happened in the last few hours or whatever.
Well, they all left pretty peacefully, just like a dozen arrests. They walked away, they drove away, and it's all clear now. Could this end the same way it ended there, do you think?
Well, as I understand it, if you're saying to me whether if the police start to move in and then everybody walks away, listen, as the truckers have said, as Tamara has said here today, we are going to hold the line.
Hold the line. Question for Ms. Leach. Today in Coutts, Alberta, the RCMP arrested 11 people who were found having firearms, ammunition, body armor in their trailers at the blockade site. Can you assure people in this community that none of the protesters who are here have firearms in their trucks or vehicles?
Lies.
Lies. question. Do they have fire? Does anybody here have firearms in their truck?
Of course not.
Yes or no?
As we know it, crime has gone down in this city since the truckers came.
Absolutely.
So what,
Here, here. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Somebody asked. Thank you. Hey.
All right.
True. Yes, guys.
That
was our press conference that we just had.
The other guy that asked it has a mask on as well.
Yeah, we had somebody in here with a mask asking a question about firearms and all sorts. Everybody, yes, everybody's left to see people. Yes.
They do get funded by the government.
So that's what we got to do. And of course, we had a CTV person, people right here that was.
Now we know why they were here.
Yeah.
And that's all they're going to run, aren't you,
Exactly, Kyle.
CTV?
Hey, shout out to my viewers here, Kyle.
Hey, what's happening, you guys? Mobile news.
CTV, right? Kyle, here's a good gentleman. What's your channel there, Kyle? Anybody wants to catch up?
We've got Not TV as well as Liberty Talk Canada.
We're here with Kyle, Liberty Talk Canada, Not TV.
Kicking ass, getting more views than CTV.
Exactly.
CTV, sorry guys, they kept kicking and shaking because
Exactly.
CTV made your
CTV, of course,
visuals
right
bad.
here, people.
Poor CTV.
Right here in front of us, got welcomed in, and hopefully they will tell the truth and not use a little tidbit that somebody yelled out. There was better than one.
Oh, is that well too? Did they get
Which
front
they
row?
said no to everybody. As far as I know, only that guy called it. Right here in the back of the tent, you see people. He is CTV. Yes, all three was Preach Go Home CTV. Or Preach or hey, you're going to be here. Tell the truth. Lots of other independents all around me here.
Like America.
Like America.
I should say, like, I mean, I'm good.
What's happening, Randy? How are you, buddy? How you doing? Good.
Do you ever want to let me know of anything? I've been covering audios.
On the ground. Big money needs that.
Guys got shirt.
We have a government that is
All governed by big lobbies, big money, big funding. Cross the line, we come and clog the door.
Go.
Rather than people who are acting on the best interests of Canadians. This boils down to one thing. How can a government tell you that you lose your job, that your children cannot play sports if they do not have a shot? It's very simple. Do not let it become complicated. They asked a question that was very disturbing about if there are guns down here. To our knowledge, we don't know of any guns down here. This is a peaceful protest.
Crime's gone down.
On the hill of Ottawa, Parliament Hill. Our leadership and our Prime Minister has literally become a further arm of tyranny as he is trying to destroy our nation by implying that somehow we are dangerous to society. Your streets down here in Ottawa have never been cleaner, and you know that, city of Ottawa. You know that. Let me show you what's happening.
And who are you guys with?
Is anything working on this?
Right on. You guys, say who you are.
I'm Naveen Day with Bridge City News.
You guys, these guys are fantastic. Start looking them up. They're from Lethbridge. They have been kicking ass here, and they're getting the story real. They're not even right on our side. They seem to be just honest people.
It's all about the truth.
Awesome, brother. We appreciate you.
As you can see, there's a protest there. People were saying, tell the truth.
Hey, what's going on? Good to see you. Good, good. What do we have here, Mr. Sean? The Viking.
Beautiful thing, seeing that, as everybody knows, we hold the line. Nothing but peace, love, unity here. We're coming true to what our core is right now. That's love. They don't know what to do with that. They're scratching at everything they can. Boots down on the ground here, as you know, we hold the line. And that as an individual will help write our Constitution. That's calling out our Prime Minister for crimes against humanity, treason. This is a beautiful thing. People have spoken. Don't forget, the government works for us. We don't work for them. Get down here and make whatever necessary sacrifice or investments you need to make to get down here and hold this line. Trust me, in the grand scheme of your future, your future generations for all nations, it is key. We hold this line.
We love you so much, Sean. We appreciate it. Where can these people find you?
Well,
besides in Ottawa.
If I ever get deleted, in Ottawa, thevikingondemand.com is my website. We'll always put new social media up there, but thevikingondemand.com. You can get my social media on there.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. We love you. Well, there you have it. Good brother Sean here. Busy, always on the phone. Right on. Appreciate you, Sean. Say a couple words here, sure. Hey, look who else we have here. Someone who's been in the fight with us since the very beginning. Pastor Hildebrand?
Yes.
What did you catch all of that from there?
Well, very encouraging to hear from Mr. Packford. Have high regards for him. He was the one. He's the last survivor of those that crafted it. Very, very important. I'm so glad that he's on the right side of history. Very important for us to hear that, to see that. And I thank God that we have people that are still standing for what is right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you, and we love you for the fact that you've been in this since the beginning with all of us. Thank you, Pastor. All right, there you have it, you guys. Make of it what you will. Truckers are not backing down. We will not surrender. We will fight till the end. Maybe we can get a hello from our good brother here. We've got Liberty Talk Canada and Not TV over here.
Nice, Liberty Talk Canada.
Not TV.
Not TV. That's a great name. I freaking love Not TV.
Right on. They seem to be. I'm just happy for giving them a hand. There's two others on the ground. Everything's being filed. They said the revolution would not be televised. It is.
It is by us.
Yeah.
Keep going, brother.
We are still going.
Thank you so much. You made this a lot. Thank you.
Druthers, everyone.
Druthers.net.
Druthers?
Druthers.net. Check it out.
Yes, I'm one of your paper delivery boys, just so you know. All right, guys. Amazing. Things are going. Hold the line wherever you are. Get out there, be a part of this. It's history. And you don't want your kids knowing you weren't a part of history. Love you all. Signing out. We'll leave you with a nice little pretty picture here. Tartarian stuff, you know. Okay, peace out, everyone. Love you all.